When they do it to a Tesla dealership, it's really bad. But when they do it to the halls of Congress, we should pardon them. Is that your position?
No, I've never. I don't
are
support.
you okay with the January 6th pardons?
I know you haven't been around for a while, so let me educate you about my position about January the 6th.
I'm so sorry.
Let me educate you.
No, you don't need to patronize
you don't need to.
me.
You don't need to be condescending to me.
I'm
So
not
let me
condescending.
educate you about my position.
What's happening, everybody? Today I've got a new Scott Jennings for you. Yesterday, Scott Jennings was, once again, a panel member on Newsnight on CNN. Scott Jennings and the panel discussed the recent violence directed towards Elon Musk, Teslas, and Tesla dealerships. One liberal panel member had the nerve to bring up January 6th to shift the conversation, and this pissed off Scott Jennings bad. Anyway, let's watch Scott Jennings go scorched earth on all the Democrats on the panel because, as always, once again, they refuse to condemn or even acknowledge left-wing violence. Let's go.
Firing bullets into dealerships. I think we just have a deranged. There's some kind of mental illness thing going on here. I think there are larger forces at work as well. I mean, I don't know who's funding it and who's coordinating it because this is crazy.
Actually, I'm sure he's got lots of evidence for that.
Look, I will be consistent on this. I don't think vandalism, I don't think violence is what you do to make your point. I've said that around January 6th. I've said it around protests, and I'll say it here. Do I agree what Elon Musk is doing with Doge? No. But what I would encourage people, and I don't even know if the folks who are doing the vandalism are actual Democrats or Republicans, but they're people who want to destroy our democracy as well. This is what I will tell folks. In moments like this, if you are so enraged that you want to act on something, you have a representative, you have a senator in Congress that doesn't have to be there any longer. You should go tell them that you are disgusted, to Michael's point, that you don't like that they are not taking their congressional responsibility to heart and challenging the president and say, let us pass this law, let us repeal back this funding. But taking it with vandalism, don't agree with it, don't associate it with it. It shouldn't be a part of the Democratic brand. It shouldn't be part of the Republican brand. It's not an American brand.
So doubtful it's Republicans attacking Tesla dealerships around the country. It's pretty wild, actually. The other night, Donald Trump said these are domestic terrorists. Everybody laughed about it and scoffed at it. That video looks like terrorism to me. I mean, it's obviously an organized, coordinated effort, however people are communicating with each other, to do this to people around the country who chose to buy a Tesla at some point in the past, many of whom I'm sure were Democrats who bought them in the first place, all because their entire political worldview is ruled by their emotions.
I agree, Mr. Jennings. Now, the one lady said she doesn't know if the folks doing the vandalism are Democrats or Republicans. I'll give you a couple hints. One, it's probably the party that doesn't like Elon Musk. And two, one party is really kind of associated historically with violence, whether we want to admit it or not. So think about who that might be. It's just bananas that anyone would laugh about Trump labeling these folks as domestic terrorists. I can guarantee you who's not laughing about that: the owners of the cars that they've vandalized and the people that they've put in danger. This is yet another chance for the Democrat Party to earn points with the public. All they have to do is come out and say, we condemn anyone that's vandalizing Teslas or anything else. And while we disagree with Mr. Musk, violence and or vandalism are never the answer. Voters like honesty and people that call others to account. But think about how crazy this is. The Democrat Party is so terrified of turning off any more voters because their party continues to hemorrhage members. They're so scared that they don't even realize how dumb the logic of what they're doing is. Think about this strategy. Pretend like we don't know which side this violence is coming from, so no one will know that they're from the left. Everyone knows. My friend has a 4-year-old son, and he came up to me today and said, Matthew, why are all those liberals trashing Teslas? It ain't a secret. It's another example of how out of touch they are with the American people. Think about it. They're not aware that A, we all know this is from the left wing, and B, they don't realize that being honest and upfront about what's going on is what voters respect. Literally everything they're thinking, their actions and their strategy reflect the opposite of what Americans are thinking. Anyway, let's watch Scott cook here.
And that's the American left right now. It is one angry mob after another willing to take things into their own hands, up to and including keying, firebombing, and otherwise vandalizing cars and car dealerships and charging stations. It's outrageous. It is terrorism. People ought to be put in jail and left there for a very long time and be taught a lesson.
So when they do it to a Tesla dealership, it's really bad. But when they do it to the halls of Congress, we should pardon them. Is that your position?
No, I've never. I don't
Are
support.
we okay with the January 6th pardons?
I know you haven't been around for a while, so let me educate you about my position about January the 6th.
I'm so sorry.
Let me educate you.
No, you don't need to patronize
you don't need to.
me.
You don't need to be condescending to me.
I'm
So
not
let me
condescending.
educate you about my position. You want to attack me? Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Let's do this January
I'm just
6th
asking
and then
you a
narrative.
question. I'm sorry you're getting emotional.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're a condescending person who hasn't been paying attention to what I do.
Okay.
Stop, guys.
So here's the issue. I didn't support what happened on January the 6th and was one of the first Republicans to call it out. I don't support the pardons. I have repeatedly, just like my friend Ashley here, said that no violence in our political system is acceptable. But this right here, what's going on with a guy who helps our country, who runs successful companies, who doesn't have to be doing this, and now one of his companies is under systematic terroristic threat and violence all over the country, and people seem to be laughing about it or fine with it. It's outrageous. I've sat at this table and had people say, we should cut Elon Musk from the government totally. He rescued our astronauts today. Is that what we want? The treatment of this guy is outrageous. These people who are doing this need to be found, put in jail, and made an example of. That's my point.
Anyone who commits violence against Tesla or Congress or anyone else should be put in jail, 1,000%. But that should not stifle dissent or opposition from Elon Musk.
Give it a little lip service. Give it a little both sides. Go ahead.
Okay.
John,
We're so both sides here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to say that people are legitimately upset. They're legitimately upset at Elon Musk, and they're doing it on their own, but there is no reason to have violence in the country. But I just wish all of us would support criticism of, or would support punishing people who are violent wherever they are.
For what I
and not
understand, the
letting them
Teslas
out
will
of jail.
fall apart if you just leave them alone anyway.
Yeah.
Right? There's nothing really anybody really needs to do about it. Just drive them enough. Eventually, the things will start to just like
I do think
fall off the side. From what I've read, allegedly.
One thing that would, and I don't actually think anybody was both siding this, is I think one of the ways to actually move past this is not to be, I don't know who these people are. I don't associate with them as Democrats. They're wrong. I don't know who the January 6 people were. You don't associate with them as Republicans. They're wrong. And that is the fact. That is it. Right is right, is wrong. And I think when we try to over-politicize things, that's when tensions get high. And that's where we are in this country. Both sides feel unseen, unheard, and they're taking violence to express themselves. And that's not what we should be about.
Scott's justified in getting upset. She's a condescending loser that clearly had an agenda and didn't do her homework. You know, I find myself using this word more and more lately when I'm talking about the Democrats. They're lazy. This woman thought she could come in there with January 6th narrative and knock it out of the park. Hey, lady, the American people do not view January 6th the way that you've told them to. If they did, Donald Trump wouldn't be in office. So give it a rest. But what do you guys think about what's going on with Tesla, the vandalism, firebombing, Tesla's dealerships, all because of one man? Do you think it's justified at all? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you like watching videos of Scott Jennings owning the shit out of panels, then click on one of the videos that's about to pop up on your screen. Otherwise, as always, I've got the best viewers on the planet. I really appreciate you taking a couple minutes out of your day to watch my video. It means the world to me. Never forget, Jesus loves you. See you guys.